It is Sunday the 21st. The week is almost over. I just hope everybody has had a good weekend. I wish you all the very best. Hope you had adventures. I was in green screen hell yesterday, trying to do this video for our upcoming immediate family next video for Can't Stop Progress, this great Danny Korchmar song. I managed to do a couple of things that worked, but I'm just not, I ordered one of those big egg green screens that pops open. That's damn near impossible to close up, no matter how many tutorials you watch on it. But just, you really need to have like proper lighting and all. Just the slightest shadows that show up are distracting on the screen and stuff. So I said, the hell with it. I called Steve Postel from our band, The Immediate Family, and I said, take pity on an old man, and I'm going over to his house tonight, and we'll film, because he set his studio up. He's got his whole green screen and a black backdrop and lighting, and he got a new iPhone 12, and so I just, rather than me just going completely berserk trying to do this, sitting with my little remote unit, starting the camera and then trying to start the track to play to on the computer and all this. It's just some of the earlier videos were easy, but the green screen thing, trying to center yourself and make sure it's all working and stuff, it's a whole lot different than just being in my carport filming myself. It's a whole other thing. So that's going to be my evening tonight. I'm going to head out to Steve's, and it's a long drive over there, but it'll be worth it. It'll be nice to see Steve anyhow. We haven't seen each other except for this big for ages on our Zoom conferences. So it'll be nice to actually see if he's any bigger than that at this point, or maybe I'll go there and it'll feel like Gulliver's Travels, be this Lilliputian version of Steve Postel as I remember him. We'll see. Let's see, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to it's a gorgeous day here in Southern California. I feel there's an element of feeling guilty about it when I see how much suffering there is going on across the country with weather conditions. And, we're just sitting here and it's in the 70s and clear as a bell, just a tiny bit of a breeze. But I got a pile of stuff to plant and a lot of weeding to do. So I'm just going to focus on that all day and just do some really mindless stuff. I'm waiting to hear back from Cheche Alara, my dear friend, and he's the musical director when we would do the Grammy pre-shows and the Latin Grammys. And apparently, the Grammys this year are going to be virtual, but they decided they're going to have like a song that everybody's going to be involved with on the show. And Cheche's doing it, and Vinny Colaiuta apparently put drums on yesterday, and I'm waiting for Cheche to send me the files, and I'll put bass on, and then we're supposed to film ourselves doing it so that we can cut that into the to the show. We'll see. I'm looking forward to that, though. I always love working with Cheche. It was really fun revisiting Olivia Newton-John. And as somebody posted out that I guess she was born in England, but has spent most of her life in Australia, so she's kind of considered an Australian, artist. And but there's been a lot of artists like that were born in one place and they ended up emigrating to another, and everybody kind of thinks of them that way. But since I was sort of in the UK with her indirectly, I thought I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to Scotland today. And one of the other artists over there who I always loved working with, and she's really a dear friend, and we've been friends for a long, long time, is Sheena Easton. Sheena is such a great singer. The first time I walked in the studio with her and she opened her mouth and started singing, and you just kind of go, wow, wow, this little squirt really has pipes. And I just adore her because she's like a little truck driver. She's a little tough badass. she's such a great hang. Kids are great. It's always been fun to be with her. When she lived in LA, we used to see each other all the time. It's been a while. Last time I saw her, she was in a production in London, and we got together and had lunch and caught up. But she lives, I think, in Vegas because she did so much work in Las Vegas. It just wasn't worth living in LA and commuting back and forth constantly. So that's that. I made, keeping with my copious notes, keep going to try to keep this as up to date as I can. The album that I'm going to talk about on this one was called Best Kept Secret, and it's from 1982. It was her fourth album, but her first American album. Everything else had been cut in the UK. And this was produced, the tracks that I play on this one, which is about, I think I'm on 6 tracks on this album, were produced by Greg Matheson. And Greg, like on all these videos, a lot of the same names just keep popping in and out. It was really, it's a community. So many times you walk in the studio and it's the same bunch of people making all the records, kind of like the old Wrecking Crew days. And that was the case with projects like this. But Jay Graydon and Trevor Veach also produced some tracks on this project. It was engineered by David Leonard. And let's see what we cut it at Sunset Sound, which it got, again, that's one of those studios I talked about the other day where I did everything from Manhattan Transfer there to Corey Wells to, we did Judith's first album that I did with her, Ebb and Flow. We cut at Sunset Sound. The band on the tracks that I'm on, because there's a lot of musicians on this album, but the 6 tracks that I played on was Greg Matheson playing keyboard, synth, doing arranging, producing. David Foster played piano on one of them. Michael Boddicker, who's also a wonderful keyboard player and one of the master synth guys, was doing keyboards too. Paul Jackson Jr., Michael Landau, and they were playing guitar. Steve Fischel was playing steel on it. There's a lot of programming here. And Mike Baird and Carlos Vega played drums on these tracks. And I miss Carlos so much. Carlos was just like a brother to me. And we spent so many years on the road with James Taylor together and did so many gigs. Went to Guadalajara when they decided to open a branch of Valley Arts Guitar in Guadalajara. They sent me and Carlos and Greg Matheson and Steve Lukather down to play for the opening, and it was just a hoot. And my folks were living in Guadalajara at the time, so it was great to have them to be able to come to the gig and see it. That was a lot of fun. Gary Herbig is playing sax, and the backgrounds are Steve George and Richard Page. And Richard Page was the bass player and singer from Mr. Mister. So these things all kind of jumble up, and it's a lot of the same casts of characters showing up on so many of these projects. Some of these tracks, this was getting into like the dance period and stuff too. So some of these tracks, I'm like doubling synth, like we're really just nailing down just that kind of attitude about things. And that was really fun. That's really a challenge when I would really tighten the bass up. These are all Frankenstein. Frankenstein was on almost everything that I'm going to play on on the network for the most part. But when I would do it on some of these tracks, that's when I would foam up the bass, put some blocks. I'll show you what I do. I've showed it before, but I'll show it again because my memory serves me. Here we go. If I want to take this bass, which has round wounds on it and is active, and I want it to sound a little more like an old precision bass, what I do is I take, this is kind of sponge you buy to, wash your dishes with. I would put a piece of foam between these strings and put another piece of foam between these strings, and suddenly, you can't tell like without plugged in, but it sounds like old flat wounds on it. And for doing the stuff like with the synth is such a pointed sound. With that, when I would do this and double it all kind of melds into one instrument. and cheapo tricks of the trade. And again, you know, it's the kind of thing where I was given this as a gift, and you know, you tell something interesting and you go, it's nice to be appreciated. Okay, so I'm going to play a couple of these songs. I just want to visit, you know, I love these artists. I mean, this has been really, for me, the highlight, not the highlight, it's been one of the real positives of doing this channel, has been revisiting things I haven't thought about in many, many, many years, because up to this past year, everything was going that way. And all of a sudden, you know, that way has turned into something completely different. So going into the to the archives has been really wonderful for me. Not so much judging bass parts or anything like that, but kind of relishing in the community of musicians and artists that I've lived in all these these decades, and appreciating once again, you know, the talent that I've been blessed to work with. So here's the first song. This is a song called Best Kept Man off of the album. And the album, again, is Best Kept Secret. So here we go. Sheena Easton. Yeah. It's such a period. I mean, this really defines a period of time, that 80s. That synth on so many records of that period. Gary Herbig. I loved that period. I mean, it was so much fun playing there. I mean, I got to work on there's a movie called Can't Stop the Music, and it was the Village People, Valerie Perrine and all this, and I worked on the score on that. We had like I think it was a 122-piece orchestra on it, and I asked the producer on it, I said, why in the hell do we have 122 pieces on here? And he looks at me, and it's this French producer, and he goes, because John Williams had 121 on Star Wars. So that was how they decided what the orchestra should be, was just wanting to one-up John Williams by one. It was insane. That was just fun. But every once in a while I got to do some stuff with Donna Summers, and during that whole period I did a lot of disco things. When you'd walk into a session and you'd see a chart and it had eighth note, dot 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 dot, you knew you were going to be doing disco that day. But there was this whole period that, like, sonically, just the drums and the synths and stuff really defined a period. That was really it was a trip, I'll tell you that. So let me see what else we got here. Here's a song called Don't Leave Me This Way. Let's check this one out. Everything was real synth based during that period.
The door is closed again. It's closed on me. Here I am alone again, with not a soul to see. I'm on my own now. Didn't turn out right. My bed is cold as ice, and you're out there in the night. Can't get you off my mind.
Quite a shift of gears. Very Eagles-y kind of background. There was something there, but I made my first mistake when I thought you cared. Can't get you off my mind. I haven't heard this forever, and it's so many things that are so instinctive for this style. She's such a trip. What a character. Let me see what I'll do. Two more little things here. Oh, this was really a great song. This was really beautiful, as I recall. A lot of this I'm listening to for the first time along with you in a long time. This is Almost Over You. Let's go ahead and check this one out. She's such a great ballad singer. I mean, she could sing pop great, but her ballads were so rich.
I saw an old friend of ours today. She asked about you. I didn't quite know what to say. Heard you've been making the rounds round here, while I've been trying to make tears disappear. Now I'm almost over you. I've almost shook these blues. So when you come back around, after painting the town, you see I'm almost over you. You're such a sly one with your cold, cold heart. Maybe leaving came easy, but it tore me apart. Time heals all wounds, they say, and I should know, 'cause it seems like forever, but I'm letting you go. Now I'm almost over you. I've almost shook these blues. So when you come back around, after painting the town, you see I'm almost over you. I can forgive you, and soon I'll forget all the shattered dreams. Although you left me with nothing to show for the misery. Now I'm almost over you. I almost shook these blues. To make you come back around, after painting the town, you see I'm almost over you. When you come back around, after painting the town, you see I'm almost over you.
Ballads like that were always fun to play live. You know, you get the crowd would really go anthemic. You get into some of like the old Journey songs and Foreigner, you know, and then just the whole crowd is like, you know, just going at it out there, just loving it. And it's the kumbaya moments and stuff. So it's great. Just two more real quick ones. Let me see what this one is here. And then there's this other one that was really a huge hit that was a duet. Let me see what we got here. Devil in a Fast Car. Oh, this is where I'm doubling up synth, I think, on this one.
I used to think that I was made of stone. I only wanted to be on my own. It gets so lonely when you're all alone, and you just can't take anymore. Look at the passion in my eyes tonight, coming
it, girl. Yeah. Devil in a fast car. Just the sonics are so 80s. It's so great. Drums. Yeah. There were so many samples and different things being done, triggering on drums and stuff during that period that it really became kind of a defining sound of an era. And certainly in the 80s, it was a signature. So many of the records I worked on had those kind of pads and those kind of electronic drum triggering and stuff going on. But I enjoyed it, man. It was when people talk about the 80s and stuff, man, there were some great records being made in the 80s. It was really a fun period. And again, we were all in the room working. It was a band. It was not overdubs, not sending in files and stuff. It was a bunch of maniacs all in a room just pulling together and making great music. Now, this video's gone a little long. It's, Jesus, 30 minutes into it. But I got one more song to do that was what we did for this project. It was written by Bob Seger, but it was a huge hit as a duet for Sheena and Kenny Rogers. So I thought I'd play that. It starts off, it's the whole first beginning section of it is with Kenny, and then Sheena comes in. But this was a big hit record, so I thought I would go ahead and play this one, and then I'll get out of your hair and let you go on with your weekend. So here we go. We've Got Tonight is the song. This track was produced by David Foster and Kenny.
I know it's late. I know you're weary.
us lonely, longing for shelter from all that we see. Why should we worry? No one will care, girl. Look at the stars now, so far away. We've got tonight. Who needs tomorrow? We've got tonight, babe. Why don't you stay?
Come on, Sheena.
Deep in my soul, I feel so lonely. All of my hopes fading away. I'm one love, like everyone else does. No one keeps searching after today. So there it is, girl. We got it all now. And here we are, baby. What do you say? We've got tonight. Who needs tomorrow? We got tonight, baby. Why don't we stay? I know it's late and I know you're weary.
Yeah.
I know your plans don't both of us lonely. Both of us lonely. We got tonight. Who needs tomorrow? Let's make it last. Let's find a way. Turn out the light. Come tonight. We got tonight, babe. Why don't we stay? We got tonight, babe. Why don't we stay?
It's great with songs like that too, because it would appear on Kenny's album and on Sheena's album. So they got a lot of play out of these songs. So that's visiting with Sheena Easton. I just adore her. She is just really a great person. I loved hanging out with her. I wish she lived closer, because we really did. We used to go out to dinner all the time and get together at each other's houses, and it was really neat. We were playing in town with Phil. I had a little dinner party at the house and invited just a couple of the people over, not Phil, it was fine, but had Sheena came to dinner that night, and Daryl Sturmer came to dinner, and he was like beyond himself, because he's happily married, but he had such a crush on Sheena, and he was just sitting at the dinner table going, he'd look at me and go, Sheena's next to me. It was really fun. It was really a cute evening. So have a great rest of your weekend. Some of you are towards the end of it. Some are just beginning it. It's 10:43 Sunday morning here, and I am now going to upload this and get out and get dirty for the rest of the day, digging holes and planting and weeding, and I can't wait. I love it, and that's my great mindless pleasure, is just to go do yard work and have the dogs help me. They like sit there and jump on me and stuff while I'm crouched over. It's a lot of fun. So I will see everybody tomorrow, and just again, stay safe. stay safe. This is the most critical thing. I got some very bad news this morning about some friends, and this just is all. There's things going on that are so difficult, and the main thing is to be safe through all of this. So my thoughts are with you all, and definitely my heart and thoughts are with all the people working so very, very hard. I spoke with a friend of mine, doctor, yesterday, and he was giving me some inside scoop about the hospital he works at and what they're dealing with. And it's beyond what we hear on the news. It's really incredible. So let's do all we can to thank and support the people that are doing everything they can to keep us afloat. And I'll see you tomorrow. And that's it. This was a long one. I just, I enjoy, hearing these people, and kind of reliving these moments that I had with them in the studio. It's tucked away. It's there. Sometimes it's just harder for me to find it. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.